Hello, and welcome back to Everyday English with Ember. I'm so happy you're here today. In this episode, I want to share a personal story with you. It's a story about a difficult time in my life and how I found the strength to keep going. I hope it helps your English and maybe your heart, too. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin. A few years ago, I had a plan. A clear, simple, beautiful plan. I was going to move to a new city, start a new job, and build a new life. I was excited. I was ready. I told everyone about it. My friends said, "That's amazing." My family said, "We're so proud of you." And I said, "Don't worry, I've got this." But life doesn't always follow your plan. The first week in the new city was fine. Everything felt fresh and exciting. The apartment was small, but I didn't mind. The streets were unfamiliar, but I enjoyed getting lost. Everything felt like an adventure. But then, the second week came, and the third, and slowly, the excitement started to fade. The job was harder than I expected. My boss was strict, my colleagues were busy, nobody had time to help me. I made mistakes, small ones at first, then bigger ones. I remember one morning, I sent an important email to the wrong person. My boss called me into her office. She didn't shout, she didn't need to. She just looked at me and said, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry, it won't happen again." But inside, I didn't feel fine at all. I went home that evening and sat on my kitchen floor. Yes, the floor, not the sofa, not the bed, the floor. And I just sat there in silence. I didn't cry. I didn't eat. I just sat there and stared at the wall. Have you ever had a moment like that? A moment where everything feels too heavy, where you ask yourself, why did I think I could do this? That was my moment. The weeks continued. I started to feel lonely, really lonely, in a big city surrounded by millions of people, and I had nobody to call. My friends were far away. My family tried to help over the phone, but it wasn't the same. I started to sleep too much, or sometimes not at all. I stopped cooking proper meals. I lived on instant noodles and coffee. I stopped going outside on weekends. I told myself, I just need to rest. But really, I was hiding. One day, my old friend called me. Her name is Sarah. She asked, "How are you really doing?" I almost said, "I'm fine." That word again, fine. But something made me stop. Maybe it was her voice. Maybe I was just too tired to pretend. So instead, I said, "Sarah, I'm not fine. I'm really struggling." There was a pause, and then she said, "Thank you for telling me. I'm glad you said that." Just those words, that small moment, it changed something inside me. After that phone call, I made a decision. Not a big decision, not a dramatic one, just a small, quiet decision. I decided to do one thing every day that was good for me. Just one thing. Some days that meant going for a 10-minute walk outside. Some days it meant cooking a real meal, even just eggs and toast. Some days it meant writing 3 sentences in my journal. Small things, tiny things. But every small thing was a step. And slowly, very slowly, I started to feel a little better. At work, I asked a colleague for help. Her name was Mia. I said, "Mia, I'm still learning. Can you show me how to do this?" She smiled and said, "Of course, I remember being new here. It's hard at first." Why hadn't I asked sooner? I was so afraid of looking weak, of looking like I didn't belong. But asking for help wasn't weakness. It was the smartest thing I did. Months passed. I got better at my job. I made fewer mistakes. I learned the rhythms of the office. I found a small cafe near my apartment where I liked to sit on Sunday mornings. I started taking walks in the park. I noticed the seasons changing. First, the leaves turned orange and red. Then they fell. Then snow came, soft and quiet. And then, one morning in spring, I saw flowers. Small yellow flowers growing through a crack in the pavement. I stood there and looked at them for a long time. Something about those flowers felt important to me. They had grown in a hard place. Nobody had planted them. Nobody had watered them. They just kept growing anyway. I took a photo of them. I still have it on my phone. Looking back now, I understand something that I didn't understand then. Struggling doesn't mean failing. Feeling lost doesn't mean you're going the wrong way. Sometimes the hardest seasons of life are also the ones where you grow the most. I learned that asking for help is brave, not weak. I learned that one small good thing per day is enough. I learned that loneliness passes if you let people in. And I learned that you don't have to be okay all the time. You just have to keep going. One day, one step, one small yellow flower at a time. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Everyday English with Ember. I hope this story gave you something. Maybe new vocabulary, maybe a little comfort, or maybe just a few minutes of quiet English practice. If you want to practice your shadowing, go back and listen again. Try to copy the rhythm, the pauses, and the emotion in the voice. That is how shadowing works best. If this episode helped you, please share it with someone who is learning English. And remember, keep going. Keep growing. I'll see you in the next episode.